Hey, we are live on this Memorial Day weekend. We hope that you and your family are spending time together. We hope that you'll take an opportunity to let your kids, your grandkids know about what the true meaning of Memorial Day is all about. It's not so much the barbecues. We know you're doing it. The basketball, the races, the baseball. I know all that. But it's a special day to, look back on the people who have lost their lives defending this country. And you think about that for a while and spend some time telling your kids about the history of the good old U.S. of A. One of the great things about the history of the U.S. of A, we live by laws. We're a nation of laws. And this is Law 2020, putting the law in focus, brought to you by your friends at the offices of the BCN Law Firm. Know your attorneys, know your options, 855-LAW-2020. That's 855-LAW-529-2020. The BCN Law Firm, B as in Boyette, and Cummins, and Nalos. So Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos, that's the rundown. BCNLawFirm.com. Offices, The Villages, Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, and Sebring. And Wade Boyette's with us over this weekend. Thank you for coming in today.
Oh, this is great. It's a wonderful holiday weekend, nice and relaxing. Come in and have a show with you. Go downtown, enjoy a nice lunch with Nikki. It'll be a beautiful day.
This is the second time in like 3 years we've gotten to see Nikki, so, I think more appearances should be good.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get her out of the house to come do this show, so it's tough. But, talking about Memorial Day, you and I both support our veterans. And,
very much.
Get involved in a lot of charitable organizations dealing with veterans. There's one out in the Villages that you and I both support, and it's wonderful. I know my son and I, we have something that we've tried to do the last couple of years, and we're real big in CrossFit, and we do a exercise program called Murph. I don't know if you ever watched the movie Lone Survivor, but he was one of the officers there that got killed, one of the Navy SEALs, and his workout was run a mile, do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 body weight squats, and a mile run. So if there's any way to, give back and show a little pain, we get out and try to do that every year. And that really makes you think about it while you're going through that grueling time.
Yeah, the one that you and I are so involved with, Combat Veterans to Careers, It's so important to make sure when our guys and gals do come back that they get a job. They've got something to do. They come back, and so many of them are so tragically injured and marred and mentally set back that it's hard to believe what they've seen overseas and some of the stuff they've been through.
It's amazing. I know at Claremont CrossFit, where I work out, we have a vet that came back from overseas and unfortunately had lost both of his legs. And just see the determination and the grit and the positive attitude that he has, having gone through what he's gone through. It's touching. It's amazing.
They spend a lot of time around the guys and the gals when they come to the Villages, and I'll spend a lot of time emceeing events. And it's amazing. They've got such a positive attitude. I mean, there's a gentleman that came to us, and he was about 5'6", 5'7", and he had to have a mechanism put into the base of his spine to keep his body going. That's a medical miracle.
Wow.
But it was actually, and he said, well, it causes my hips to gyrate every now and then, so we're coming to the dance tonight, and guys, you better hold on to your women. He's laughing about it. Well, and you think, wow.
Well, it's because of those, guys and girls and, that have gone out there, sacrificed so that you and I can be here doing what we're doing today, and so that we can go out and have that nice barbecue this afternoon.
Yeah, you don't have too many news talk stations in Iraq.
No.
You ever notice that? All right, we're taking your calls right now. If you've got a call of any legal nature, the BCN Law Firm has attorneys that specialize in just about everything. I mean, I can't imagine any legal issue coming up that the BCN Law Firm does not attack. 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. You can text us at 21232. That's 21232. And texting, get out your smartphone, go up there where it says contacts, and just put in 21232. That's the address, okay? And that goes into a computer instead of a smartphone. So again, the telephone number, 855-297-9696. Right here on News 96.5, there's an advertisement that Wade voices, and it talks about real estate transactions. And, I do an awful lot of radio shows, throughout the week. I'm on the air 7 days a week somewhere. And a lot of those shows deal with real estate. And those contracts get bigger and bigger and more technical. And with all the big fallout of the crash a few years ago, that's caused more things to be put in contracts or intentionally left out. And at the same time, You find financial firms still getting in trouble, like on Friday, for some of their shenanigans they're pulling. I cannot imagine going to a closing table, and anybody listening remembers what that's like, and you've got that 4 inches of paper in front of you, and as long as you keep your pen up, they keep shedding those papers to you, sign. I wouldn't do that without an attorney sitting next to me.
You know, and I agree. And, you know, we're at the closing table, you know, several times a day. We do a lot of real estate closings for clients. And, you know, where I get involved personally is usually when there's a problem, when either the buyer or seller is wanting out of the contract or there's a problem with the contract. And it's always, well, I didn't understand that provision, or I shouldn't have signed that provision. And once a contract's signed, you're bound by the terms of the contract. And so you need to understand what you're signing before you do, and, you know, way before you get to the closing table.
You know, there's a case this week, I think it was yesterday, I heard it on this station, that a guy comes home and the neighbor building the house next to him was putting cinder blocks down the middle of his driveway. And he said, I don't care, my survey shows I own this. Well, that happened to me about 10 years ago up in Mount Dora. And I'm thinking, do these guys have title insurance? Does anybody know about a good title insurance company? Where does that come in?
You know, and anytime you go under contract with a piece of property, whether it's residential or commercial, if you're a buyer, one of the first things I recommend is let's get a survey, or let's look at a survey, you know, that was hopefully recently done to make sure there's no encroachments, make sure you have adequate access to the property. You know, so many times I had a case I'm working on last week where a gentleman bought some acreage out in the rural part of Lake County, and, you know, they had a driveway that the next door neighbor had let them use for the last 50 years. You know, someone had used the last 50 years. They buy the property, and unfortunately there was no good access. That driveway was not an easement to the property. And so the new owners, when they bought it, the adjacent landowner said, sorry, you're not using our driveway anymore. And so they came into me, and we ended up having to file a claim on the title policy because there was no access. And we ended up getting a 30-foot easement. Well, my client wanted a 50-foot easement because he bought the land with the intentions of hopefully developing it. And you need 50 feet instead of 30 feet. And so, I mean, it's just a mess. Things that could have been taken care of if they would have come in and had someone look at it and do the due diligence for them.
And look, way back in the thing, you've been around Lake County for years and years and years. I've been around Lake County for years and years and years. Central Florida used to be all orange groves. And up where Mr. W, up in Lake County around Mount Dora, had his grove.
Right.
Well, every now and then, he'd let the guy with the next grove use that for access to his grove. Well, nobody went down to Tavares to the courthouse and said, yeah, we're going to do this. So when I bought my house, was at the edge of one of the big W groves. So I took 7 lots. I thought, well, then a big real estate developer that's up in Lake County decided to build a big lake view place above East Crooked Lake. And it turns out that his line went through my living room. My line went over into his development by 40 feet. 2 different surveys, different years. You know, they used to set things by the edge of the grove. Well, groves change.
Absolutely. You know, I deal with that. You know, residential situations, people running hedges, assuming where their property line is, and ended up, you know, encroaching on someone else's property, or fences. I see fences quite a bit. Or they'll make a mistake and they'll go drill a well. And unfortunately, they'll be 10 foot over on their property line. You know, all things that are part of real estate and real estate transactions that, you know, if you have, you know, if you work in conjunction with the realtor, and because realtors are very, very important part of the transaction, and include the attorney to do what attorneys do, which is analyze the legal side of the transaction and to make sure everything is protected and make sure you're good, you're going to have a smooth transition. Right. The transaction is going to end up being nice and smooth. I
just think so many people, Wade, grew up in the North where that house or that division they're looking at, that division's been there 4 or 5 generations. But they don't realize that Central Florida is only 15 years away from most of it being raw land. Look out by Claremont, where your home office is. It wasn't that long ago, folks, that it was all groves. And that lot you're buying wasn't a lot 20 years ago. Correct. It was part of a grove, or it was part of a ranch. And so with all this subdividing, unless you've got really good lawyers, really good title company, really good surveyors, chances are you're going to run into a problem.
You know, Nikki and I have a house up in North Carolina. And North Carolina are one of the states where lawyers have to close real estate transactions.
Yeah.
And the realtors are involved, the attorneys are involved. And if you go and look in North Carolina, the amount of litigation in real estate transactions or title claims that are filed, it's a fraction of what's here in Florida, because you're getting the attorneys involved right up front, and they're doing the due diligence and making sure both parties are protected.
Well, you and I have always agreed on one thing. If you're going to spend $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on a house, you darn well should have an attorney from the time you actually fall in love with that home, because it's a business transaction. It's not emotional. Right. Hey, we're going to come back with Terry, and how about if you call, too, at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. Text us at 21232, 21232. We will return right after three big things you need to know. We're back. Yes, this is Law 2020 featuring attorney Wade Boyette, and you'll have other associates come along week after week. Law 2020 brought to you by your friends at the BCN Law Firm. That is Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos. You can reach them anytime at 855-LAW-2020, 855-LAW. That's 529-2020. Let's get back to the phones, and Terry is on the line. Terry, how can we help you?
Hi. I have a question. Recently I was driving, and there was a truck in front of me pulling a utility trailer, and debris from the trailer flew on my windshield and cracked it. I got the number off of the truck, and it was a roofing company. I called the roofing company and told them where it happened and so forth, and the lady answered the phone and said, well, that was one of the people worked for them, and that she would have the owner of the business call me. He called me, and he told me that I would have to contact the owner of the truck. That would be his responsibility. So he gave me the guy's name and the phone number. I kept calling, and, of course, never got a return call. In the meantime, I went ahead and called my insurance company to get the windshield taken care of. It was a lease vehicle, and I didn't want it to continue splintering. And so the insurance company took care of it, and now the roofing company says he will give me a gift card and wants me to sign a letter of release of liability form.
Right. Now, Terry, did your insurance took care of it, correct?
Yes, it did.
And what's your deductible?
Well, I didn't have a deductible.
Okay, so you're not out of pocket any money then from that happening?
That's correct.
Okay, and were you injured?
No.
Okay,
no.
So everything's been taken care of. It's been repaired. That sounds, for your inconvenience, because that's really what he's giving you the gift card for at this point, is the inconvenience that you went through of having to repair it. That sounds like a nice gesture on his part, and, his having you sign that release of liability, I would, if I was representing him, I'd ask for that also. That's just so that, down the road, you could not come back and file any type of lawsuit against him. So if you weren't injured and the windshield's been repaired, then that's a nice gesture on his part. I would go ahead and have someone look at that waiver and maybe sign it.
Is Florida one of the states that has automatic, through the insurance companies, automatic windshield replacement through the pool?
Yes.
There you go.
And one of our good friends is a rep for one of the companies that repair the windshields, and it's amazing now what they can do to repair these windshields.
Oh yeah. All right, Terry. If you need any further, if you want somebody to look over that document for you, BCN Law Firm, 855-LAW-2020, 855-529-2020. 2020. We've got open phone lines right now at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. George, what's your problem?
Yeah, HOA question. We had our HOA sent a letter out in December saying there was going to be a meeting like in about March. And when it came around, they never posted out in front of the subdivision for a week ahead of time or so that there was going to be a meeting. So consequently, very, very few people went. Can they get away with that?
Well, we'd need to look at your HOA documents and see what their notice requirements are, George. You know what I would do is pull a copy of your declarations. If you don't have a copy, they're online. I'd pull a copy up and see what the notice requirements are and see if they need to post for those meetings. And if they didn't follow the proper procedure, then I would get them to hold another meeting.
And one more question is, the president tried to pull sneaky and pass he called it a variance to the deed restrictions,
okay,
where people had to hide their garbage cans because he personally doesn't like people having their garbage cans out. And he had, in December, he had the board vote on it and passed it and did not notify anybody about it.
Then, again, if he didn't follow the proper notice requirements, then he cannot make an amendment to the declarations.
Okay, what's a variance versus what does a variance mean?
Well, that just tells me he's amending the HOA documents. There's no such, you can't have a variance. He can amend the terms of the declarations, but to do that, he's got to get the necessary votes of the homeowners so that he can change. You can't make HOA documents more restrictive without getting the proper votes.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. And I bet you get a lot of HOA problems on both sides, right?
Both sides. We get, it's almost weekly that we get HOA issues come in the office.
All right, if you've got a question, let's get it on the air. You don't have to use your real name. You call us at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. Text us at 21232, 21232. We'll be back with more of Wade Boyette. This is Law 2020, and you know what? We're asking the experts all weekend long right here on News 96.5. Hey, we're back. If you have a question for Attorney Wade Boyette, we are asking the experts, and this is Law 2020. The BCN Law Firm wants to help you out. 855-LAW-2020. Know your attorneys, know your options. That's 855-LAW-2020. And the word law actually translates to 529. We're worried about that. Offices, Winter Park, Claremont, where it all began. Lakeland, the Villages on Highway 466 in the all-new Santa Fe Office Plaza, and you don't have to go through a gate to get there, okay? You got that? And there's a satellite office in Sebring as well. You can watch this very show on the YouTube channel. You go to YouTube and look up the BCN Law Firm channel, and that's done by producer, photographer, editor extraordinaire Luis. All right, 855-297-9696. Todd called that number. Todd, what's up with you?
Yes, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call. I have a quick question about my mom's will. She resides here in Lake County about 2 years now from Florida, from Ohio. I live down here as well. Is her will from Ohio legal here in the state of Florida?
And Todd, I'm going to give you a general answer, and that is yes. The rule is, as long as the will was executed in Ohio with the same formalities that Florida has, which is in front of two witnesses, then it is a valid will here in Florida. However, I would recommend you taking your mom in, bring her into her office. Let's update the will if she is a Florida resident, and let's make it subject to Florida laws. You don't want to have to end up looking at Ohio law. So if I would, very simple change. Let's change the provision that says that the will is governed by the laws of Ohio and say that the will is going to be governed by the laws of Florida.
Okay, and with that being said, her mobile home that's bought and paid for, can that title be put into my name in lieu of death?
You mean put in your name now instead of after she passes away?
Yes.
Yeah, it can be done. I mean, there's other things, and that would be up to your mom whether that was in her best interest. But if she wanted to do that, the answer is yes, that can happen. But there's other vehicles that we can make this same thing happen. If it's the intent that it not go through probate and go directly to you, we can make that happen easily.
Great. That's what we want to prevent. Well, I'll contact the office first of the weekend.
You have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, we are taking calls at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. Maya, welcome to the show. You're on the air with Attorney Wade Boyette.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. I just got a question. Somebody is, there's an attempt being made to serve me with papers for a lawsuit. And I was wondering, I just haven't been home, so they've been leaving notices, but I'm really not home. So how long do they have to serve me before they put an ad in the paper, or I don't know what the process is exactly. I don't know what the Florida laws are.
More than likely the process server will give it several tries. And, if you don't, if you're not there and a couple weeks goes by, then they'll publish in the paper. I mean, what type of suit is it, Maya?
It's for insurance company. I had a water leak, and the water damaged the condo below, and so that insurance company that covered their condo is trying to sue me.
They're trying to get either you or your insurance company.
Yes.
The best thing is, do you have anyone who could accept those papers for you?
What, I don't know what you mean. You mean try to stay at my house while I'm gone?
That would be home whenever the process server. Or, you can always call and tell them, this is where I work. I mean, or do nothing. They'll end up serving you. You will end up getting served. And then, bring the paperwork in and let us help you. We'll get in touch with your insurance company, and your insurance company more than likely will hire an attorney that's going to defend that claim for you.
It's a little. There's an insurance company for the condominium association.
Correct.
And it's not my personal insurance. And I tried calling the condominium association insurance, and they would not take a call from me. They said it's up to the association to file the claim, but the association refuses to file the claim. The leak, it was a water leak that happened inside the walls.
Right.
Within the drywall.
Yeah,
within the studs.
This is not a unique situation. I've seen this happen quite often anytime you have multifamily properties. So, do me a favor. Once you do get served, bring it in, even if it's for a consultation, and we can give you some guidance. I'll be glad to put you in the right direction. Okay.
Do you know how many days they have before I'm in default?
You won't be in default. You have to be served first.
If I'm never home and they're not serving me.
It's going to be up to them now to when they decide to publish.
And then when they publish, then how long do they have to publish?
Well, they'll publish usually for 2 weeks. So what you need to do is just go on and look at the docket, if it's depending on the county that you live in and where they're going to serve you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
This goes back to what I try to get across every time Wade and I are on the radio together, and Melissa or any of the rest of them from BCN. Folks, know your attorney and know your options. Get a legal representation before anything like this ever crosses your lives. Am I wrong in that?
No, and Maya's probably stressed out. It's not every day that you get served legal papers.
Amen.
And I know it. I tell people all the time, you can say it doesn't bother you, but when that process server knocks on your door, you get butterflies and pits in the bottom of your stomach. So you know what? Don't be afraid. Sign the papers. It's going to happen. Bring them into our office. And let us put you in the right direction. More than likely with Maya's situation, there's going to be an insurance company attorney that's going to step in and defend that claim for her.
Yeah. And the great thing is, I've always said with Wade, that if you have an attorney's card in your pocket, you've had a working relationship with them, you know them, they know you, then whenever anything like this comes up, it's as easy as reaching in your pocketbook or your wallet and saying, here's my attorney's number, call him. I'm going to go have a beer.
Rob, it's funny you were saying that because, just a few minutes ago in break, I get a text, from someone that I spoke to probably 4 or 5 months ago. Well, I'm finally moving forward to form an LLC. Can I meet you on Monday to form an LLC? But I have one quick question first. So here it is Sunday, and I'm getting a text to ask a question about forming an LLC. And I just shot him a quick text back. It's done. They're happy. And, hopefully we'll see them on Tuesday or Wednesday to form the LLC for them.
See, There you go. There's no reason to worry when you have somebody on your side already. It's like having a brother in the business, but you can trust Wade. Hey, Suzanne, how can we help you? Suzanne, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Go
Hey,
right
Suzanne.
ahead. You're on the air.
Okay, I have two questions concerning personal bankruptcy. One is after you stop making payments to your creditors, how long do they have till it's reported to the credit union?
Okay. And what's your second question? And I'll answer
My
both of them.
second question is one of the credit cards is with a credit union, and I'm wondering if you stop making payments to them, can they attach any other accounts that you have with the credit union?
Okay. Two questions. Okay. And those aren't really bankruptcy questions. Those are, if you stop making payments on a credit card, usually once you're 30 days past due, they will report that to the credit bureau, which will show up on your reporting agency. So it'll show up on your credit report. And then, once you're 60 days, so 30, 60, 90, once you're hit 90 days past due, you've done the most damage to your credit at that time. So, that's going to happen if you're 30 days past due. Now, what I tell clients all the time, if you're delinquent with a lender and you have money in that lender's bank or in that account, you are probably best to move that money, because if you don't pay most of the time in fine print, it says they can go into your account and take the money to make those payments. So if you're going to miss payments on the credit union credit card and you have a personal account at that credit union, more than likely they're going to tap into that account unless you move it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Suzanne. Of course, we're taking your calls right now at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. We're going to take a quick break for the three big things you need to know, and we'll be back with more of the BCN Law Firm. It's called Law 2020. We're asking the experts all weekend long on News 96.5. Thank you very much. We are back. We have 7 minutes and change before news, traffic, and weather, and we continue to ask the experts. The Talon Wealth Management people will be up at 1. Don't forget, coming up on Monday morning, it's the All News Morning Show, and Tuesday morning after the holidays are over, we really get serious about it. So we'll get you back to work on time with Jackie, and we'll get you the weather from our meteorologist Tom, and everybody's going to be on the same basket. And we'll get Joe Kelly back to catch us up on the news after a fun weekend, and a memorable weekend at that. Christine, no, let's go with Charles first. I'm sorry. Charles, what is your question for Attorney Wade Boyette of the BCN Law Firm?
Yes, I have property near Mineola on a ridge that's called a Mineola Ridge. When we purchased this property, it was nothing but dirt roads and groves entirely that were burned out. And I'm attempting to get my property zoned from agriculture to commercial. And I'm wondering, because there's a question of where they locate from to have a new survey.
Okay.
And who would I talk to about the question I have about the existing survey on my property?
Yeah, what I would recommend you do, Charles, and you're right down the road from us, come and sit down with me for a few minutes. Bring any survey you do have. We work with a lot of surveyors. We work with, a lot of the officials in the, for the town of Mineola. You're in the same situation of a lot of our clients right now. We have that new interchange that's going to be coming in Mineola. So a lot of people are scrambling right now looking at rezoning and doing land use changes on their property to maximize their value. And I'd be glad to sit down with you and walk you through the steps to help you get your property surveyed and get things done.
All right, thank you so much. That was funny the way you and I both nodded when he said where he was at.
Yeah,
we've walked that property before, no doubt. All right, let's go to Annette. All right, Annette, what's your question?
Hello?
Hello, ma'am. You're on the air.
Yeah. My question is, my sister and I, we're on our mother's checking and savings account, and my mother has passed away, and she had a house and a couple other things that will be going into probate. Would this checking and savings also be a part of that probate if we're on her account by name?
Okay, and you would need to go to the institution that the account is out. More than likely, if the account was set up with multiple names, it's in a joint account, and you and your sister would have the authority to access that account even after your mom passes away. But what I would do is just go sit down with one of the representatives at the bank and ask them what type of a joint account it was. Make sure that y'all do have that right. Also, check and see if it's a POD or a TOD account. If those things, if y'all's names are on there and your mom passed away and you can still access the money, that money is not going to have to go through probate.
Okay. So that wouldn't be a part of her assets to go into the probate.
That's correct. It's not going to be part of the probate estate.
Okay. Well, that was the question because I didn't want to use anything out of it to do anything if that was the case.
Well, no problem. If you need any help with the probate, please give us a call. We do probate every day.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much.
You have a great day.
You too.
Oh, you're burning up those phones. That's a good deal. Don't forget, after our hour ends in 4 minutes, so after that, you can call Tuesday to the law office, 855-529-2020, 855-529-2020. Let's go with Dan. Dan's calling on the toll-free line. What's up, Dan?
Hey, I got a question. For a pre-employment, I ran like a background check on myself, paid for one of those background checks in the FDLE. Now, something came up on there that I have no clue, 30 years ago, and that's been keeping me from, how do I get that removed from this report?
Have you contacted them to try to contest it to get it off the report?
Contacted who, the FDLE?
Yes.
No, I just did this yesterday because I was released from the job.
Okay.
Did a background check, and something came up back in 1982, and I have no recollection of that. I wasn't quite sure what my next step would be, so I was suggesting to call them.
That's right. I would write something contesting, what the information that's on your background check. If they don't remove it, then give me a call. And what we'll do is we'll try to find out, one, if it's not something that's true that's on your report, it needs to be off because then it's going to start hurting you. And then there's some financial repercussions to that.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Dan.
Hey, Dan. Very good. Let's continue our calls. Let's go to Christine. Christine, thanks for rejoining the show. I know we lost your line earlier. What's going on?
Okay, thank you for taking my call. I purchased a recliner chair from a very well-known company who I've done business with many times. It's a recliner. It appears to be leather, but it's not. And they put a fabric protection on the chair. And when they delivered the chair, I noticed that in any way you move, the fabric is rubbing, and it's quite noisy. So the driver told me then, give it time, it'll go away. Well, a month later, it's still doing it, and I've called them, and they just don't seem to want to do anything. They say, I'm stuck with whatever it is. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that any fabric rubbing against itself is eventually going to wear.
Yeah, let me ask you, Christine, did they represent that it was leather?
No, they said that it appears to be leather.
Okay,
leather.
Okay, no. So it's one of those faux leathers. It looks like leather, but it's not. And
yes.
And then you had them put this protective.
Yes, what the protective was is bones and stuff like that.
Okay, legally, there's really nothing that you could do once you purchased it. That's not a defect. And I say that. We could argue that it's a defect and try to get the furniture company to replace it. But do you think if they gave you another recliner made of the same material, would that protect it? You'll probably have the same issue, I'm assuming.
Well, I asked them to just simply replace it with another recliner with same value, even if it was leather or something. I was even willing to do that, knowing that if I purchased, if I exchanged it for the exact same thing, it would do it again. The thing is, they're telling me that this will eventually stop doing it. Well, I've had this chair since January. If it hasn't stopped by
you
now,
don't want to sit in it for a couple of years and then it finally stopped doing it. Yeah, anything will stop after a while. Yeah, so, if you would like, give me a call, Christine. We can continue this conversation on Tuesday if you would like, and I'll be glad to see if I could help you out and get you another recliner.
855-529-2020, 855-529-2020. Do you often find, Wade, that just sometimes that letter from that BCN law firm seems to move mountains?
That or a phone call. You know, it is amazing.
All right. Wade will be back next week right here as we give you Law 2020. That's right. Know your attorney, know your option. 855-LAW 2020. That's 529-2020. Offices Wonder Park, Claremont, Lakeland, The Villages, and Sebring.